The Drop with Frank and Brian is officially brought to you by Switch Suspension. Switch Suspension specializes in all vehicle chassis components. Lift kits, lowering kits, air ride suspension, wheels, tires, steering, and brake upgrades. They use all the best products from the best brands. And these guys are truck guys. You roll into their parking lot at the shop and they all drive custom vehicles. So they use their products that they sell on their own vehicles. So if you guys are looking for anything for your vehicles, whether you're just starting out or you just need some replacement parts or whatever, give them a call or visit their website, switchsuspension.com.
Hope you enjoyed this episode of The Drop. If you like these podcasts and all the other content we create, head on over to our websites and purchase merch. Purchasing merch keeps us going and creating more content. Our websites are grinder-tv.com and livelifecustom.com. We really appreciate it. Now on to the episode. There you go. Now you sound great.
Now it's perfect.
It's perfect.
When in doubt, reset.
Yep, that's about it right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're all going right now. Anyway, like I was saying, you say you had a busy morning?
Yeah. Yeah, it was busy morning.
Yeah. Same over here. It's been a busy week. Not necessarily with anything like for brand stuff. It's just busy generally around here.
Just life busy.
Just life busy.
Life busy.
Anyway.
Yeah, and I was like, didn't even get to prepare anything.
I got stuff.
Any notes? Like I have a lot of the questions still saved, so I'll just got to delete them as if you have.
So I went on there and I scoured around and I found some. We're going to be answering questions from like February. Which is fine if you've been waiting for your question to be answered.
Yeah, and if you don't want to listen to us answer questions, this is your time to stop listening to this episode right now.
Well, are we doing questions first, or do you want to hear about my adventure?
Oh, yeah, I want to hear about your adventure.
Okay, so then people can tune out after the adventure.
Oh, we both had adventures this weekend.
We did, yeah.
Oh, yeah, so there is stuff to talk about. For some reason, I'm like, there's nothing going on, but we both did have adventures this weekend. So.
Yeah. It was fun. All right, well, let me start with myself. Like I mentioned in last week's episode that I was going to the party at the Pink Motel, hosted by a club called Genocide, and it was incredible, dude. I had so much fun. Like, it was great. Let me kind of like set the scene on what it is. There's this place called the Pink Motel in the San Fernando Valley, and it's not a motel anymore. They use it for like movies and stuff, and maybe I should, I should have pulled up a list of movies it was in, but it doesn't matter. It has been in movies. So it's more like a static display. Mm-hmm. And so it's hosted by this club called Genocide Car Club, which is a freaking gnarly name for a car club, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But so this club Genocide, they specifically build 70s lowriders. Like, they're very specific on what they build. And a 70s lowrider is like, and I'm going to send you a bunch of footage to go with this that you can insert.
You're going to have to, you get to do that.
Oh, I could do that?
Yeah, you could do it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's going on my channel anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's fine. Okay. So I'll start. And that's actually better because I can really pick and choose.
Yeah. There you go.
Anyway, so yes, 70s lowriders. I kept on throughout. I'm making a video, so I filmed the whole thing, and that one will actually be coming out really soon because I found out that when I do like little 1-day jammers, the videos are like so easy to make.
Yeah.
So the video will be coming out soon. But in the video, I kept on calling them late 60s, early 70s lowriders. But after going to the show and experience it, it is strictly 70s lowriders. That's like exactly what they build. And that's like biscuit, like diamond tuck, biscuit tuck interior, velour interiors, like lowrider patterns, but very specific to the early 70s. So it's a mix of like, remember a couple episodes ago, we were talking about seaweed flames? Oh, are you there?
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Anyway, a couple episodes ago, we were talking about, with Daniel, we were talking about flames.
Yeah.
And we were talking about seaweed flames. Well, seaweed flames are very 70s style flame. So lots of those, lots of patterns, lots of velour, like crazy period correct 70s mods. One crazy one. I don't even think I actually filmed this one, so I don't know if I have anything to back it up, but it's a Corvette. And the Corvette has the back window. You know how the back windows are almost like kind of like a half a clamshell kind of? They had taken the back window off, so it's got no back window, and it's got this like gnarly, like velour, puffy interior, and it was super killer.
Now, so to show there though, like not their club in general, but to show there, it can be a different year, right? Because wasn't Ernie's Cat or Impala there one year?
I was gonna bring that up. So Ernie's Impala is a 70s lowrider.
Yeah, but it's a 70s style lowrider.
70s style lowrider,
So
yes.
that's what I'm saying, right? So it's not. Is it a year thing or is it a style thing?
It's a style thing.
Okay, so it can be anything.
It could be like there were like a lot of different years of vehicles there. They don't have to be 70s cars.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
I see. Yeah, they don't have to be 70s cars. They could they can pretty much be any kind of vehicle as long as it is either built to that 70s style or is close to it, because there were actually other vehicles there that weren't very 70s style but still kind of like fit the vibe. They're very particular. So like if you want to show at this show, you have to submit photos and they have to approve it.
Yeah.
And even to the point where like out on the street, which was technically not part of the show, but it's so close it is, that's where they were putting all like the hot rods and stuff. So like if you had like a traditional hot rod, it probably wasn't going to be in the show. It was going to be outside of the show. One really great part was, are you familiar with a dude named Adam from Artistic Precision out here in Ontario? So he's been around the scene for a long time and he's done a lot of things. He's really close friends with Lowe's from Sunset. And he has a rancher.
I say no, but I might know him. That's
when you see the car, you'll be like, oh, okay, yeah. So anyway, he has a rancho that he's been building for many, many, many years, and it's all finished. It's so killer. He's a painter, so the paint is really like nice, and it's got this like fade paint job where it fades from like a teal green to a white, very period correct 70s style. But the cool part about it is you look into the bed part of the truck. It's all mini truck, tube work. It's body dropped. It looks like you could tell a mini trucker built the suspension on this thing. It was really cool. But yeah, one interesting thing too is, so you have the Pink Motel, which is one part, and then next to it is this place called Cadillac Jack's. It's a restaurant that still operates. It's still an operational restaurant. But so what they do is the show is basically at the Pink Motel, but Genocide parks all of their cars around this Cadillac Jack's. So it's almost like I don't want to say that. It's cool because it like really allows the club to like showcase what they do, because it's not like, they're throwing the show hosted by this one club and then a few of their vehicles are out. They almost actually make that the center of the show. Yeah, really, just to really showcase what they do and what the kind of cars they build. Yeah. In the back, they have this big empty pool. There's skateboarding going down. They had vendors all up in the back of all really cool things, just like clothing brands and everything. One really cool thing is they had this like old school indoor swap meet, like photo booth set up. Like you remember those, like when you go to the indoor swap meet and they had like the airbrush backgrounds and everything. So they had a whole booth like that so you could get photos done in that style. The whole thing was incredible.
Yeah, I was like, I've been following it for a little while, and for some reason I thought it was something that has been going on for so long, and it actually hasn't.
No, I think this is their fifth year. Yeah, like fifth year doing it. Yeah. I tried to find out more because I don't know anything about this club. Trying to find out some more info, like how long they've been around, like when it started. Not much info about it. Yeah, same thing. The only thing I know about this is this show. Yeah. And so like I've been wanting to go for a long time, but it always fell on Rolling on the Red Rocks weekend. So I never got a chance to go. So it all fell into place. The other component was I actually took my truck down there. Yeah. I drove it down there. I got the truck going, had the air conditioner charged last week. Eric from the club was supposed to go with me, and he called me up a few days before and he's like, hey man, I had some stuff come up. I can't go. And I was like, ugh. I could just go down there and not take the truck. I could just cruise down there. And you know how you start doing that thing where you start talking yourself out of it. So I started doing that. And then I'm like, no, I need to do this. Actually, it's like, I have to do this, not for any particular reason, but just for myself, And so I cruised the truck all the way down there. For those, you're familiar, but for those who don't know, getting from where I'm at to the San Fernando Valley, it's not just like what we call going down the hill. Like it's not like going down the hill or going to Orange County or going to downtown LA or anything. You have to go like down and then up into the valley. Yeah. So it's kind of a longer drive. It took me about an hour and a half, 45 minutes to get there. Yeah. So I took the truck, I did that. And I actually didn't even like my initial idea was I wanted to get there really early to park on the street, which since I didn't know anything about this show, I didn't know how feasible that was. I didn't know if they use that as part of the show. I later found out, like I said earlier, you can park on the street and not be part of the show. So I think next time I go, I will do that. Get there really early and try to snag a street parking. Yeah. But they had just like a spectator parking in the back. So I just decided, I'm just going to do that. So I cruised the truck down there, parked in the back. So it was one of those things where I took the truck, but it wasn't taking the truck to show it off. It was merely just taking it to go
taking
do
the truck
something.
to take it out for a drive, basically.
Yeah, and it was awesome. I had so much fun. Cruising it down there, I've said this so many times before, but the truck always surprises me on how well it drives and everything.
Well, there's we've talked about this.
I know.
It's all in your head. It's all in your head. Like when you were going to come out, what was it? Was it Cruise to the Pines, and then you decided not to, or decided to bring the Tundra? I forgot which show it was.
Yeah, it was one of them.
Yeah, and you're just like, I just don't want to drive it. And I'm like, why? And you're like,
yeah.
And you were just like making these things up because you just didn't want to go through the process of doing it. But once you go through that process and you get in and you drive it,
it's like,
you're driving it's a stock vehicle around you. You know
basically,
what I mean?
Yeah,
you know?
basically.
So, like the only really thing is like if you just did the heat stuff, the carpet, the padding and stuff like that, like that's like
it wasn't even that. Honestly, if I was to lodge a complaint against myself about the drivability of that truck, the only thing that bugs me is I have to go through it and find like holes, like just even like little, like just where air is escaping into the truck because the exhaust kind of gets. You don't even notice it. It's not like you can drive it and it's like a strong exhaust smell. It's just after you're done driving, you go like, I kind of smell like exhaust. If I was to lodge any kind of
that's
complaint.
what I'm saying. Like if you took that truck and you take the seats out, you just take all the floor and the seats out of it, and then you go back into it and then you just cover everything up.
Yeah,
like it's all.
Yeah, that's
it. Here's what it needs, Frank. It needs a little effort.
It does.
It needs some effort.
Which is again. To say it again, I don't put much effort into that thing, and it never lets me down.
I know. Well, that's the thing, though, is
that's a testament on how
you put a little bit. But if you put it's not about letting you down. If you put a little effort into it, it will help you want to drive it more.
Right. Yeah.
Like you have to put effort into these things. Like if you ever get a new vehicle and you do stuff to it, like you're gonna have to put effort into that too.
Yeah.
Like
I get it.
These things reward you after you put a little bit of work into them. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. And taking it out last weekend definitely inspired me to do that. We have the Unfinished Business show coming up in a few weeks. And I'm going to cruise it down there. And after that, we're going to go down to Joey's and we're going to go to that concert, that Run the Jewels and Wu-Tang concert. I'm going to drive down to Joey's. So I'm going to start implementing that, kind of like being a little more proactive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you drive it, you kind of go, oh, this is bothering me. And then you fix that thing. Mm-hmm. You see me do it with my truck, like
for sure.
The Titan, even just the Titan, just like, oh, this is bugging me. Like this mindset of just like fixing the thing that bugs you. So you don't make up excuses. It's because that's what it almost forces you to do is make an excuse.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. But no, I had a ton of fun taking it. I still, even though it was in the spectator parking lot and I didn't show it, still got a lot of people as I was cruising in, I was walking around and some people came up to me and said, "Hey man, I saw the 4Runner. It's super cool." So, it's still cool. It's still cool to hear that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the show. It was super fun. The show ran it starts at 2 and it goes until 10. And from everything I saw, the real fun starts later on in the evening.
The pictures that I saw too, I was just like,
more people skate. It was in the middle of the day. It was hot. It was super hot. So, there were a few people skating, the vendor booths, there was some movement in there, people hanging out by their vehicles and stuff. But once the sun goes down and it gets a little cooler, that's when more skating happens. I didn't know if they have bands, but I think in years past they've had bands and stuff, but that's when the stuff starts going off. Yeah. And that's another thing, the guys who throw this show, Genocide, they're not old dudes. Well, I mean, they're our age. Take that for what it's worth. But they're not super old dudes. They're not super young dudes. They're our age. But they're still they grew up doing the same thing that we like, which is skateboarding and punk rock music. So that's the vibe of the whole place. And it's Los Angeles and cars and, gang culture, all of these things coming together and making this one event. It was incredible. I had a lot of fun. But yeah, and then so I'll throw some footage in here and show all that stuff off. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully get to go again, depending on what happens next year.
Was it a lot of fun?
It was. I keep saying that. It was. I mean, so from there, I left early. I didn't stay until 10. I left about 3:00 because it was a 2-hour drive to go from the San Fernando Valley to Moreno Valley to go to the club meeting. So I had to bounce a little bit early. But yeah, so I get to the club meeting and meet up with everybody, and I'm just like, I love you, man. It was so cool. I was pretty ecstatic when I saw everybody. But yeah, so that brings up the next thing.
What's the next thing?
Oh wait, no, we can't talk about that yet.
What?
But why you came out? You don't want to talk about that?
Oh no, yeah, we can. Like, we
okay, I wasn't sure. I was all like teeing it up to talk about. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, maybe he doesn't want to talk about that right now.
Well, it's funny because you had mentioned in the club chat or in one of our chats that we have that. You're like, does anyone want to go? And like no one responded and all that stuff. And I was like, well, there's a truck that I'm looking at, and if it lines up, that's the day that I want to come and grab it, because I would rather drive around LA on a Saturday and not a weekday.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So that truck that I mentioned in that chat, that guy never called me back. So like,
oh, that was a different truck. That was not. Truck. Oh, okay, all right.
So Friday. So for everyone that knows or that doesn't know or whatever, in one of the Grinder TV videos, I mentioned wanting an 89 to 95, and there was specific things that I was looking for: automatic, air conditioning, OEM paint, an untouched truck, and of course 22RE fuel injected. So like over the last since that video's come out, a couple of weeks or whatever, people have been just sending me links every day. I'm just like probably look at 30, 40 different trucks every day, and some of them not a lot of them check all those boxes, but some of them I was like, oh, I'll get a manual if the deal is right. Like the manual and auto, that's not a deal breaker if the truck's super clean.
But the want, because people are going to ask, like, why do you want an automatic over a manual?
So the reason that I want an automatic over a manual is because it's just it's easier when you bag it, and if we do end up body dropping it, then you don't have to deal with the clutch issues.
Right, that makes sense.
And it's just a cruiser. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things where we're going to give this truck away. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing. So I don't want the person to win it. They go, well, I don't know how to drive stick. And I know the joke is, some people don't know how to drive stick.
You're right.
And that's what it is.
It makes it much more accessible for whoever wins.
Exactly. And I've never driven an automatic mini truck of this genre before. And I'll tell you what, this is the go.
Yeah? You like it?
It's so first off, that Friday, backtracking a little bit. That Friday, I was just sitting on Marketplace. It was probably 6:00, and it must have refreshed or something, because I got like 5 new suggestions on these trucks, and this one. And I hit the guy up, and I was like, "Is this still for sale?" And he's like, "Yep," because it actually had been listed for like a week, but it never popped up in my search. And I was like, "I can come out tomorrow," and I was like, "I'm coming from Phoenix, so I kind of need to know
which is kind of interesting from that guy's perspective, because he's probably wondering, like, why?
Yeah, exactly. Because there are a ton of these trucks for sale, like around Phoenix and all this stuff, but none of them checked all the boxes, and this one did. So I kind of was like, yeah, I'll come out tomorrow. Like, I will. And so he ended up calling me, and he was like, hey, I don't know if the truck will make it all the way out there. And I was like, well, what's wrong with it? He goes, there's nothing wrong with it. He goes, I just don't want you to come out and then something. And I was like, well, I'm going to bring a trailer.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not driving this thing back to Phoenix.
And he's like, oh, okay. I was like, all right, so I'll meet you around like 1. And he's like, all right, cool. So I get cash, and then I start driving. And I was like, before I left, I texted him. I was like, send me the address, and we're still cool, right? And he's like, yeah, because I'm thinking, I mean, anything can happen. Some dude could come and swoop that truck up, and I've driven now 5.5 hours.
Right.
For nothing. Mm-hmm. So I was like, this is kind of a gamble, but let's roll the dice. I ain't got nothing else to do. Yeah. So then I get down. It's off the 105 in Lakewood, and I get off the freeway, and I have like $6,000 cash in my pocket. And I was like, damn.
Yeah.
This is a little sketch.
It is.
So then I cruise around a little bit, and I find the guy, and he's just sitting in the truck next to this apartment complex. And I pull up next to him. I roll down my window. I was like, hey, do you want to drive around because there was no room. It's super crowded. There's
it's like in the middle of a city.
Yeah. So I follow him down this road, make a right in front of a house, and just park. And then I just hopped in the truck, or we looked at the truck, started up, and I got in it and drove it. And I was like, this dude could just he knows I have $6,000 on me.
Yeah, he just rob you.
Yeah. So I was like, dude, we're just taking gambles.
Yeah. Well, and also, from his side too, like he doesn't know you. You're driving out from Phoenix to buy this
He has
old
no idea.
truck.
We both could have guns on us, and we're just pointing them at each other. Because that's the funny. So I know everyone in the comments, they're like, well, I'd take my gun. Well, yeah, that's fine. But your gun, if you take it, you're driving a truck. Are you going to sit there and point the gun at him the whole test drive?
Yeah.
You know
You're just holding it. I'm like, I really got to check this thing out.
Yeah.
And then he hold his gun against.
Yeah, he's just holding. Yeah, so we're just like,
just driving.
Yeah.
Making like small talk along the way.
Yeah.
Just like,
we're talking about each other's guns.
That's nice. That's really nice.
Yeah. And so anyways, super nice guy. And we drive around the block, and I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, well, it's kind of like, I was like, look, man, this is exactly what I want.
Yeah.
I was like, take $5,500. He's like, yep. It's like, cool. So this is the other funny part. I give him $5,500. He signs the paperwork, and he goes, okay, later. And I was like, oh, do you live around here? He goes, yeah, I just live right down the street. He just walked off. We didn't park in front of his house. We parked. So he just walks away.
Again,
like, that dude has $5,500 cash on him, and he's just
walking
around.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he just left, and I'm like, now I have this truck, loaded it on the trailer, and that was it.
Yeah. And then you cruise out to the meeting.
Yeah. It was just funny. Like, I kind of thought about it on the way out there, but I didn't really think about it until I got off the freeway.
Going back to Moreno Valley?
No, just going to meet that guy. Like, didn't.
Oh,
think about
that's
the
when
whole
all these
cash
things started racing
situation.
through your head. Just
Yeah.
Because
I mean, that could be anything. Like, you could set up a scam like that where you have this thing for sale. Mm-hmm. Someone says, "Hey, I want to buy it," and if they're coming from far away, or even they have cash on them, they're coming to buy a vehicle from you. Like, that could be just a whole setup. But anyway,
yeah, it worked out well. The truck is super cool. I love it.
Me too. I was like,
it's really nice.
Carl, it's funny because the last time Carl came out to visit his parents, no regrets, Carl, we unloaded my Tacoma and I drove it for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
This time we unloaded this truck and we drove it around the neighborhood for like, anyways. So I was like, anytime you come out, I'm always unloading a truck and we're driving it around.
That's funny.
But yeah, it's weird because, like I said, it's an automatic. It's a column shift automatic. So there's no shifter on the floor. Mm-hmm. And that's a strange thing in a mini truck that you don't have a shifter on the floor.
I've seen quite a few of them where the selectors on the.
No, but I mean just driving a manual truck.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Then and even a lot of the automatic pickups, the shifter's on the floor.
Right.
So like me, I was like never had this feeling of like, oh, there's just all this space in here. Mm-hmm. It just feels like you have way more space in if you have the shifter right there. And the truck just drives smooth. The brakes work. It's super tight. It feels like I would have driven that home to Phoenix from LA.
Oh, once I saw it in person, I believe you.
Yeah.
Minus the, what did it say? 338,000 miles on the dash.
Which is it's just a new cluster. It doesn't have that many miles on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he said he's like, here's the Carfax. You can see in 1 year it jumped like 100-something thousand miles because they.
Why did they change the cluster?
I have no idea.
Oh.
But if they were going to do anything weird, they would have put a cluster with less miles in it. So
yeah, I know that is weird to put it. Yeah, maybe the other
could have been a cracked. It could have been.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That interior is so clean. Maybe it was bugging them that it had a messed up cluster and they just changed it out or something. You don't know. And it's got those cool like aftermarket power windows too.
Which usually, if anyone's ever dealt with aftermarket power windows, are super janky. Mm-hmm. Like at least in my personal experience, I've put aftermarket power windows and they're always just kind of like, yeah. But these are super nice. And I noticed the other night when I was moving it into the backyard, they light up. So the switches have lights on them. And I was like, that's cool. Way. It feels like it's kind of OEM, you know?
Yeah. That's super cool. Body super straight, a couple little dings here and there.
There's some things on the bed, but like I think that can be all massaged out. It's nothing that was, nothing crazy.
Well, it's an exciting beginning to this. Yeah. So you go buy, you come out of SoCal, you buy it, you take it to the club meeting. The SoCal chapter is like the first to get to check it out.
Which was totally like cool how that lined up because that was not the plan until that Friday night. I was not going to drive to the meeting. I was not going to come out to anything. I was trying to do it early enough to where I could go to that show with you for a little bit, but that didn't work out. But Yeah. So yeah, the chapter got to see it. And,
Everybody's super stoked.
Everyone's happy. Yeah. The meeting was really fun. It was funny because that meeting I was thinking about this the other night. You know, you've been in the club now for like, what, 11 years?
Well, no, this is my 10th year.
10th year.
Mm-hmm.
There was some old school people there, and that it felt like you were still like kind of the new guy at that meeting.
I know. Yeah. Right.
Like, yeah, there was a couple newer guys than you, but then I was like, man, there's some people that just kind of came out of the woodworks for that one.
Yeah. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
It was definitely cool. Yeah. No, that was our first meeting, and I don't know. Oh no, Robbie said that was our first meeting since the pandemic, like pre-pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Yeah, there's really never a reason to have a meeting.
Yeah, no, not really.
Yeah,
it was just fun to hang out with everybody and just chop it up for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then we had a little pretend meeting. That was fun.
What's that?
Sorry, that was maybe the wrong way to put it. We had we were there just chopping it up, like everybody knows what's going on. But then Robbie said, "Okay, let's talk about stuff." Like, you know what I mean? It was just kind of weird, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Not pretend, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. We made it official for a few minutes.
There you go. Yeah, made it official for a few minutes, which was it was really cool. But yeah, then we got to talk about the truck and like some things about that, like the technical part of it. So it's really cool, and that's going to be a thing I think we're going to discuss for quite a bit over the next year or so leading up to the show next year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because it'll be the first time like. I'm gonna document the process. I filmed going out and getting it, and then filmed a little bit at the meeting, and then I'm gonna do like a driving video. When I get back from this week, and I'm gonna like go out. I'm gonna drive it over to Pandas, and I'm gonna show him and like take it over to Tanner's and show him and just kind of like do this intro to it. And then was even thinking about Tanner mentioned you should take it to the Art of Noise 4th of July show. Just
cool.
take it
all
stock like it is.
Yeah. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Is that 4th of July weekend?
Mm-hmm. It's actually on 4th of July.
4th of July is that's right. They always do it on 4th of July, the day, no matter what day it is, right?
I don't know if they do or they just do it whenever the fireworks go off. And I don't know if the fireworks are on 4th of July, if the 4th of July is on a Wednesday.
What was that?
This plastic package just like fell from the top of my closet onto the ground.
Ghosts.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's a cool idea too. Yeah, I'm excited for that whole process. Do you have like an idea of when it's going to go to Pandas, like for real, to get worked on, or
no?
It's all tentative, really. When all the other projects get finished?
Yeah. So got to finish the red truck and then the OBS, and then kind of we'll make plans for that. Like I'll start buying parts for it, and
are you going to intertwine these videos together, like when the red truck's getting put together, but then you bought some trucks for the parts for the giveaway truck, kind of like weave and intertwine?
Yeah, there'll probably be like one video of just this truck, like the intro will just be this truck a little bit. There might be some other things thrown in there, but then once things start to kind of go, then they'll kind of all intertwine together.
Yeah, that's super cool.
And then the other part, we just have to figure out like the process of how we're going to give it away.
Right. Which we kind of like talked a little bit, nothing set in stone, just kind of talked about.
Yeah, just kind of got people's input on ideas, like kind of had a brain, what is it called?
Brainstorming.
There you go. Brainstorming of ideas. And some people had some really good ideas. So we just we'll figure that out. And then we've got to figure out exactly what we're going to do to it. Depending on the timeline, like if the suspension gets done soon, then maybe we could, we're going to polish it out and just kind of all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be super fun. Super looking forward to it. I think it's going to create a buzz over this next year.
And that's the thing, right? It's we have a lot of time to do this, so it's a lot of time to create that buzz and all that, because we're going to start talking about the Forbidden Show, pretty soon.
Yeah, actually, really soon, because the details are coming out soon. Yep. I won't say when, but soon.
Yeah.
I just gotta say one more thing about my Pink Motel party thing.
Yeah.
I got this thing. Pretty rad, huh?
Cool. Yeah.
It's so they made. I'm showing it to the camera right now. They did some screen printed shirts, and then they just threw that same print on some paper.
Yeah.
And sold it as print. So I think it's pretty rad.
That is
put
cool.
up on the wall.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea. Guess how much I paid for this, by the way?
Huh?
Just take a guess.
$20.
$25.
Oh, okay.
But it's crazy to me because, obviously I screen print everything like that.
Yeah.
So
that print right there, did they print that with the screen printer?
Yeah.
So they didn't just take the artwork and have a poster made, right?
No, that's a screen printed image. So that
basically, like if you got a piece of that's like thick stock paper, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's like a very heavy. Paper.
Yeah, so if you got that, you could do your artwork on something like that.
Yeah, I used to actually. So oh shit. Dang it, I just bent the corners. I'm actually going to think about cutting the end off, though, because like they got this big negative space right here.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Did they have to do that for the size of the screen or something like that?
I don't know, honestly. They didn't have to. They could have just, like, yeah, they didn't I don't know why they did that. It looks weird, though, but it's cool. Anyway, so I have these things, they have a specific name. I just call them test prints, test strips. So, like, anytime I'm setting up a job, I have to print it on just like that to make sure all the registration's cool. And I have stacks of them, and I used to like actually give them away and sell them. I don't know why I don't do that anymore, but yeah, so it's something I've done before. But back in the day, like I did sell them for a while, and I was like $5, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, so when they were, so I was like,
idea. Just
no, it's a cool idea.
Like if you ran, each time you did an artwork or ran a piece, run 20 prints and then take them to the show and sell them for $10 a piece, like.
Yeah.
People like that random type of artwork. Obviously, you bought that.
I know.
But I mean, that's obviously from this like really special event, like that's not just the normal event, but there's people, I think there's definitely people out there that would buy artwork from you like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it'd be a cool idea. And it was funny when I was like, oh, cool, I'll take a print. She's like, yeah, $25. I'm all.
You're all, I can't say no now.
Yeah, I know. What am I going to say?
What's the limit on that, right? What's the
Like, when would I have said no?
Yeah, like what is because everyone's been in that situation, I think, where they already made the decision or they're in a bind, right? Like say you've gotten a taxi cab and you're like, take me home. And then they're like, oh, and then you get home and they're like, oh, it's this much. And you're like,
oh,
whoops, I didn't ask beforehand.
But just start running.
Yeah. But you're at your house, so you just run inside.
They'll never find me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just want to show that off before we get into the next part here. Now the next part, our old. We got anything else as far as like? Oh, let's talk about real quick where you're going this weekend.
What do you mean where I already was?
Where you already been?
Where I already been?
Yeah,
I'm alive now. Not sure if I'll be alive then.
Jesus, dude.
Man, every time I look at the temperature, it just keeps clicking up a notch and clicking up a notch, and I'm just like, oh.
You're like, maybe this wasn't such a good idea.
Bad idea. Who was it that? Oh, Tanner was like, "What are you gonna do? Leave because it's too hot this time?"
I don't think you could do that.
I'm like,
well, I mean, you do whatever you want.
I do whatever I want. Yeah,
yeah, you do. Yeah, you do whatever you want.
This one doesn't affect anyone except me. The last one was affected you too.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I was just like, no, this is gonna be different. I don't have to film. I'm gonna make a video, but I don't have to like. I'm not contracted to make a video for the show.
Right. And also, hot is different than cold.
And I'm prepared. I was prepared for the cold last time, but obviously not well enough mentally. But I bought those fans with the misters.
Oh, yeah. I saw those. Those were cool. Yeah.
And those, I had just one on low out in the backyard the other day, and it was, super hot. And I was just sitting there, and I was like, oh,
it works like good.
This is legit.
Yeah, we use those for the kids softball and stuff. They work out really well.
Yeah, so I got two. So I'm going to put the 10 by 20 up. I'm going to put walls behind it, and then I'm going to set up one of those things. And then Matt's coming and he's bringing a swamp cooler.
Where are you going? You forgot to say where you're going or where you been.
Oh, yeah, right. That might be helpful.
Right.
Classic Truck Throwdown in Conroe, Texas.
Yep.
So same place LST is, same people that throw LST. It's their sister show. And I went the first year. They hired me to come out and do video, and the second year they asked if I wanted to do that again, and I said,
you politely said no.
I politely gave them a price that they had to decline.
Right. It was a $50 screen printed poster, basically.
Yeah. But now there was like, when I got back from Moab and drove the Maverick and all that stuff, I was like, oh, this is actually comfortable and it's very cheap to drive. And I had I can fit my whole booth in there. So I was like, I'm just going to, and then the gap between shows. So there was like Moab and then there's Unfinished Business. And I'm like, I'm going to be kind of bored. And it's funny because then I like committed to that. And then I got like 4 phone calls for jobs.
Oh, really?
And I'm
That's
like,
the way it always goes. Yeah.
yeah. And I was like, well, like I said, I'll be back in town this day and we can do it. But,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's going to be, I think, 95 degrees.
No, wow. But 95 doesn't sound hot, but it's in Houston.
Yes.
And that humidity.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be bad. But again,
what's
like
the
I said,
humidity?
I don't even know.
98%.
All of it.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah.
100, 125%.
So, but Matt from Houston chapter is bringing his truck out. We're going to display it in the booth, and then
cool.
He's bringing a swamp cooler.
Nice.
So.
You're also you mentioned you might be doing a little food tour.
Oh yeah, I'm going to try. My goal is to leave tomorrow. And I'm going to I'm going to go through, remember we went through Fredericksburg on the way to LST a couple times? So I'm going to jump on that road and go down and try to get into Austin and then have lunch and stuff and hang out there.
Yeah, you can do a little barbecue.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. That's cool.
Yeah. So I'm excited for it. I'm just a kind of a chill adventure, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And you hang out with the club a little bit.
Hang out with the club a little bit and then hang out with those. I like hanging, obviously hanging out with Lonnie and Radar. Like that show is obviously.
I was going to say, are they like a little more chill at that show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's definitely, like it's smaller than LST.
Yeah.
So they're already there setting up. Like they're, those guys are on it. But yeah, it'll just be like more of like a fun thing.
Right. So it's called Classic Truck Throwdown, but that almost gives you a little bit of a misrepresentation because it's not just like when you say classic truck, you're thinking like 50s and 60s and 70s trucks. They just mean
my brain goes to my brain always goes to C10s.
Yeah, exactly. You think it's like a old truck show, but it's a pre-98 anything truck show.
Yeah, which means pre-2004 Tacoma, because if you have a 2004 Tacoma, you're just like, what year is it? It's a 98. They say pre-98 because of the Chevy trucks. Mm-hmm. But a Tacoma, an S10, a Frontier, like you could bring
a 2001 S10 is a 94 S10,
exactly.
Basically. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And they put a mini truck on the actual artwork this year to try to like show people, like, because it is hard when you do that, because like Ronnie with the reunion, so many people still think it's just a C10 show because Ronnie and Sam throw it. Mm-hmm. And they're like, no, it's everything.
Yeah. No, it's cool. And they picked a really cool truck to put on there too, that graphicked out S10 with the blown motor in it. Yeah, it's super sick. That's cool. Yeah. All right, well, cool, man. Hopefully it was a good weekend.
We'll see.
It was a good weekend.
It's always a good weekend.
Yeah.
Get it?
Oh, yeah, it's always a good weekend.
Get it?
Every day is a good day.
Dude. It's a good weekend.
I got it. Let's get Sorry.
You're just like, oh, yeah, I got it the first time.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Very clever. Very clever. Let's jump into these old questions, and I kind of want to talk. I do. Do you want me to say when they were asked, or just
let's
leave
see
that?
what you got there? Because
yeah, let's line them up.
Okay, because
let's go all the way to the back here.
I only have 8 images here of questions. Oh, so
that's what I have.
Okay,
so we have the same ones.
Maybe let me delete this one because this is Jordan talking about the Huntington Beach cruise.
Mm-hmm.
That's a. Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so this one's a good one.
Oh wait, are we dropping in?
Oh, drop it in.
Drop it in.
Drop.
And drop.
Drop it in.
Drop in.
Drop.
I dropped everything.
I knew the drops would come.
Drop it.
Okay.
All right. So this is from Mick Fleming, Micked Up Trucks, Down Under.
Oh yeah, I do have that one here. So let me. Okay, go.
All right. So he says, "Hey fellas, you want me to say the date when it was asked?" Nah.
May 1st.
Oh, mine says April 28th. Our stuff is all messed up, dude. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Maybe that was May 1st, 2024, and
Oh yeah, it does say that. Yeah. Right under that, it says April 28th.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. He says, "Hey fellas, couple cues for the pod. What's your favorite piece of merch? I'm sorry. What's your favorite piece of merch you've come across? What's the weirdest, worst you have found when you coming down under?" That's kind of a cool question because I got this poster I thought was really cool. Was a cool little addition, and we've talked about it a lot before. But a lot of shows do that. They'll do like a really unique, thing. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but can you think of any that are cool? The flannel was cool from mini nats. That was cool.
That was really cool. That was like them kind of investing into their merch, into their show, and reaching out and doing that. And everyone loves their Dixon flannels, so like that was really cool to have like because when you see Dixon flannel, it's like they work with some big companies and big bands, and to see a mini truck Dixon flannel was pretty special.
Yeah. To toot our own horn, I think it's really cool that the Forbidden Fantasy show has the show artwork and then the alternate artwork.
Mm-hmm.
That's also really cool. I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I don't have any like worse ones. I don't want to put anybody on blast and say that like that was a dumb idea.
The merch though, like I'm thinking like vendor merch too.
Okay. I wasn't sure if he was talking
he's just
about
saying merch. He's not
just
saying
merch in general.
He's just saying merch in general. He does not talk about like show stuff.
Oh, okay.
So like you could think about walking around Dino's or thinking about walking around any show and you see these booths. I'm not going to say a piece of merch, and so when I started selling merch, it was hats and a T-shirt, and then a couple more T-shirts, and obviously DVDs, and then I got into this thing where I was like, oh, I need keychains, oh, I need this, oh, I need this, and one day I stood back and I looked at my booth and I went, this is too much. It wasn't necessarily that it was one piece of merch. It was just like, okay, now it's too much. And there's some people out there that do that. Like to me, I like simple is better. And I'm also not like I'm not a merch brand first, even though now I'm kind of am a merch brand first. So like, I think the overall look of a merch booth, if you're walking by, it's more enticing to walk up to a booth that is very clean.
Right. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
We
talked about that a lot.
Yeah. So you look on the table, and there's just not crap thrown everywhere.
Right.
It's very, maybe not necessarily symmetrical, but it's just very, inviting.
Right.
So,
yeah. I've done I like doing little quirky things. I've done the keychains and stuff. I like the keychains, and this is bad on me. But anyway, I like the keychains. Like I made those rubber keychains and I'm going to make
really
some more.
cool, yeah.
And because like sometimes, if someone puts in an order and stuff happens and maybe it's been a few days and you haven't sent it out yet, you pop one of those little bad boys in there. And,
I've got my baggies of keychains and stickers for just that.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Oh yeah, you did those like not embroidered ones. What would you call those?
They're
embroidered.
I don't know if they embroider them, but yeah, it's fabric.
Yeah, like a fabric keychain. Yeah, little stuff like that is cool. I did those little bag koozies. Mm-hmm. That was fun. So like little stuff like that, I like to do.
I think I love doing it. It's just it was too much for me at that time because I was like wallets, keychains, and then I had to have a little rack and like hang all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, for me, I'm like no, because at that time I was like still filming shows like really actively and getting it was just like too much for my brain. And now that I've kind of calmed down, like it would be cool to bring the wallets back, but do like special runs of stuff like how you do. You like find these quirky things and you run with it. And then it's not a thing that you might have all the time, but it's just this thing that you did and it was cool.
And also, another, part of that is also because we have a lot of people who help us out. It makes it easier for them. If you have t-shirts and banners and hats, it's like pretty simple. But when you start introducing a lot of little things, you know what I mean? So that's another thing to think about.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that was a cool question.
Weird piece of merch though. Nothing comes to mind with seeing like something that's oddball.
I buy the one things beyond just truck shows or anything like that. When I go to like little quirky stuff that I buy, I buy vinyl albums. I do not own a record player.
That's hilarious.
It's very funny. It makes Angie mad. Well, because like, my kid, it's funny. My 16-year-old daughter is into vinyl too, but she actually has a record player and she listens, she plays them and stuff. But to me, it's just like another collectible thing. Like I have Spotify to listen to music. I'm not one of those guys, and I know there are people who are like this when they're put on the vinyl, like it's the pure. I'm like, I don't know, man. I got Spotify. I listen to whatever.
I'm kind of the same way. You know what I mean? Like I think I always want to collect albums because I follow a couple Instagram pages that where they make the actual record and they show that process, and I'm just always like, I want that. And then there's a band that I not grew up listening to, but in high school I listened to called Spiderworks, and they're from Riverside.
Yeah, I've heard them.
And they just did a reissue, like a special album of their Shiver album, their most popular one. And I was like, I want that. It was
Buy
like
it.
$300.
Oh wow,
And I was
don't
like,
buy it.
Nah, I can't, man. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted this certain one, and the basic one was, affordable. But again, I'm not going to bring it home and listen to it.
Right.
I just wanted it I was going to put it on my wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, the album, the covers are cool, and I own a couple albums that are different pressings.
Mm-hmm.
I have a first pressing, and then there was another special edition color that I bought.
Yeah.
So,
Because I think that's cool. My problem is, actually, I want to do this because I've been trying to, decorate a little bit more and all that, but is find some cool ones. But my problem is I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of. Now I need more.
Exactly. That's what I'm riding that line, and it's funny. So I have a couple albums that are the same, different colors. I have a couple 7-inches, that are like, we only made this 7-inch this one time, and I bought that. So there's this during the club barbecue in July, I'm going to go to a show that evening, and it's this band from Chicago. And yeah, I really want to see them play live, but I really want to buy their shirt and record when they come, you know, like that's another big reason why I want it.
Where are they playing it?
El Rey.
Where's that?
Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah.
Yeah. I've actually thought about, because there's a corner in, my living room next to the TV. They're both kind of open. Mm-hmm. And I've thought about buying some sort of entertainment record player thing for that. Mm-hmm. And it would be the exact same thing as the records. It would literally be just
to look at.
Just to look at.
Mm-hmm. But it'd be a vibe, dude.
I don't even go out there and watch TV. I'm not going to go out there and listen to a record. And when I do listen to music, I hit Bluetooth on my phone and I connect it to my sound bar and on my TV, and that's what plays.
Yeah. No, I know. It's just a collect. It's just fun. Basically,
it's one of those things that I wish I did do though. Mm-hmm. Like I wish my brain and I was like, I would go get this album, put it on the record player, put it on, and then I could sit on my couch and just it'd be immersed in it.
Yeah, but then you like pull out your phone
and scroll on TikTok, and I have to mute the record player because I want to listen to the TikTok thing. Yeah. No, I am that way in my truck. I want to get into my vehicle and I want to have a good stereo in my vehicle to listen to.
Yeah. Well, do it. Do the things that make you happy. Yeah. But anyway, that was a good question. Thanks. That was a good question.
Mick and when are you coming down under?
One day. For me, I don't know. You have a little more,
I think about this a lot. Mm-hmm. Not a lot, but I've been to Australia 3 times, and I had a blast.
Yeah.
But it was a long time ago.
You were younger.
I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
I always think like, what if I never do go back down there? And that's a normal thing to people. Like not a lot of people go to Australia.
Yeah. Which is crazy because some people want their whole lives just to go to Australia.
Yeah.
And
they don't want to go to Australia like I did though.
Right. No, I know.
Yeah. They want to go to Australia. And like I went down there. I had no money. I was getting carted around by my friends.
Yeah.
Going to truck shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people will go to Australia. They need a lot of money to spend down there. Mm-hmm. I was sleeping on an air mattress in my buddy's parents.
That's still a pretty cool experience though.
No, it was still cool. Don't get me wrong.
But that'd be the thing is like now you go down as tourists, Brian.
Yeah.
Do all the touristy things and like stay in hotels and go to do the food and everything. So now you're just experiencing it differently.
Yeah.
That's a unique thing too. And there are probably a very, very, very small minority of people that can do that.
True.
Yeah.
And I cannot do that right now. The only benefit I would have is I had people to stay with down there. So save me money on the hotel.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks, Mick. Appreciate it. This is a good one. This is from Lay and Body Mike.
See, I don't have that one. Was that a new one or no?
It's from May 4th.
We're going to do better, guys. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Maybe I do have that one.
He's all, I know it's already recorded, but why did Frank get in trouble with a cop on Friday at Mini Nats?
Oh, I think I answered that.
You did answer it, but I thought it'd be funny to bring it up. So so we're out there Friday night at Mini Nats during the cruise, and I'm used to just flowing and just moving around and not really having much restriction. So I just like the traffic stops. I jump out in the street and I'm out there filming a truck, and everybody on the side was like, Frank. And I'm like, and I wasn't paying attention, whatever. And then I noticed this cop is coming up behind me and he's all, get out of the street. And then that's what I heard. And then so I said, okay, yeah, no problem. So I jumped back on the sidewalk. But what someone else heard, I think Joey heard it. I'm out there doing it. He's telling me to get out of the street. And Joey says, "Oh, he's in trouble." And the cop goes, "He's already in trouble," or something like that. It was like, I was like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah. That was it. It was a year at Mini Nats where they were a little bit stricter.
Yeah,
on the traffic,
because that was the whole left lane thing, right?
Yeah, they were basically saying like if you're gonna cruise, only cruise in the right lane,
right,
and leave the left lane. So that's why they were calling like it was like left lane thugging.
Yeah,
because people were just like being rebellious and jumping in the left lane, and
right.
and that's why if you notice on my video, everything is the same. Like there's usually like this. We could get back in different lanes, and there wasn't everything, and that's why it was frustrating with me on Friday night when we were driving around trying to film and cruise, or trying to film the cruising, and that's why I was like, hey, I'm just gonna go and walk around.
Yeah,
because it was like I couldn't get these dynamic shots that I wanted.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
if you notice,
I
all my in bed cruising shots were all the exact same.
Yeah, but it was still good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, we talk about pivoting, and that was my pivot.
Yeah.
Because I knew that was going to be the whole weekend, and I was like, okay, now I got to pivot on what I got to do. So
yeah, just being fluid. Our buddy Kenneth Faring. Let's see.
So it's so funny because you have the dates to all these because you just saw them. All mine say yesterday, because when I got these, I always screen cap and put them in this thing, but I just never go back and we never talk about them. So yours say the dates, mine just says, "Oh, this was screen capped yesterday at 7:43 p.m."
That's funny. This is a good question. Our buddy Kenny Faring says, I have a question for you guys. Well, he says, I have a question for your guest next week. But this is a good question for us. He's all, if you could change one thing on the other's truck, what would it be? It's like, what would you change on my truck, and what would you change? What I would change on your truck?
Oh, okay. I don't. I have that question, but then I have another one underneath it.
Underneath of it, yeah, he has another.
Okay,
question.
so say, what would you change on my truck, and what would I? We should guess.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna guess what you would change on my truck.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like it.
You would put the 2002 to 2004 front end on it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
All right, so now guess what I would do to your truck.
Body drop my truck.
Yes.
Yeah. That was simple. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Although your truck is so close to like
everybody who I tell it's not body drop, they're like, what?
The only reason that I would is to drive it the way it's laid out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you drive it so damn high. It's
That's my fault. I can drive it lower, but I just get so freaking nervous that I just.
What's gonna hit?
That cross member, the front cross member.
But it's metal. It's not gonna damage it.
I don't know, man. I'm always worried about like hitting something, and then it just. I have this like nightmare in my head that I'm just mobbing, and I hit something, and it takes it and turns it into a pretzel.
So that same cross member is on the pickup trucks, and my buddy. When I first got in Forbidden Fantasy, had the same year pickup, 89 to 95, and it was just lowered. And I remember we were driving down University in Riverside, and you know those metal, like they'll have to work underground, and then they'll just put a metal piece of plate on it to temporarily.
Yeah.
So we're driving, and we hit one of those things at about 40 miles an hour, and we went from like 40 to 0. It felt like 0.
Yeah,
but we hit that thing, and it took that cross member and just went boonk. Like
oh, really? It didn't even
no, it just went dunk. Like it bent the cross member. But to bend that steel cross member takes a lot of force.
That's true.
So imagine hitting a metal plate at about 40. That's all it did. So keep that in mind next time. Just lower your truck a little bit.
Just do it.
Yeah. Whatever you hit will destroy the thing you hit.
That's true. That's very true. But that's funny that we both guessed that. That was good. And then right underneath that, he also asked, what do you think is the biggest contribution to the custom truck scene?
Oh, yeah, that's the one that I saw.
Yeah. I mean, it's real simple. I mean, just bags throwing, Gendro throwing bags on a truck. That kind of changed the whole trajectory of what we got going on.
I think so. I think airbags, probably one of the biggest things. I mean, there's obviously other things out there, but like that really changed, like you said, the direction. Because before that, your choices were hydraulics or air shocks. And air shocks only worked on trucks with
torsion bars.
bars.
Yeah, like Toyotas, Mazdas.
Yeah. And I just don't think hydraulics would have caught on like bags did, and people would have been so easily, because airbags are just easy, where hydraulics they're easy when you first put them on, but then after that, it's it just becomes a thing.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
It was a good conversation that a buddy of mine texted me the other night. He goes, "Why are people putting hydraulics on stuff still?"
Well, I mean, the argument to that would be hydraulics are a little more advanced now with like accumulators, and
The accumulators have been around since the early 2000s.
yeah, that's true.
And it was it's actually a good topic, because it does not make sense to put hydraulics on a mini truck.
Yeah, I guess it's just like if you really love hydraulics.
It's one of those. Yeah, it's a purpose thing, because they it does like a making sense thing.
Mm-hmm.
They both do the exact same thing. One does it with way less maintenance.
Yeah.
And it's way less of an install and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it was it's an interesting topic.
Every
Good for
hydraulic
someone
truck that I've had, and granted, I didn't have the nicest setups or anything like that. So this is talking from a very biased point of view. But yeah, I've always had a problem with oil leaking and seals going out. And like the biggest problem that I had is we had a Mazda that was on hydraulics. And you would forget that if you were like hitting the switches too high and you filled those cylinders up too much, the first thing that's going to pop is like an O-ring on the cylinder. And we'd be just like cruising, and it'd go up and then just go, and then oil everywhere. So
Yeah. I remember my buddy Chris had hydraulics on his Tacoma, and he came and picked me up one time, and he's like, "Hey, I put Ford Escort springs on the back. Let's go for a ride." And it was smooth as crap.
Oh, yeah.
We went down the super rough road, and it was really smooth. And then my buddy Rick had hydraulics on his Toyota, and they just ran off the battery. He didn't have any extra batteries or anything. So it was a very slow system, And it's like that's the most user friendly, least of a problem system. Like you basically have to build the system to be less problematic.
Oh, I see.
Whereas bags,
You just put them in there.
You just put them in.
Yeah.
And as long as they're not rubbing on anything, and as long as your lines are cut straight, like you're not going to have really a lot of issues with them.
The smoothest hydraulic truck I rode in was a person here in the desert had a Tacoma, and it was early 2000s when accumulators were starting to came out, and we took it for a cruise. I'm like, damn, this thing is like really nice.
Yeah, a guy in the club had a Accord on hydraulics in the late 90s, and same accumulators, and it rode really good.
Cool. All right. Moving on. This is from our buddy Jonathan Turberg. Sorry, I pronounce his name wrong, but from characters. He was just saying that this was right after the Forbidden Fantasy show, and he was saying that they had a good time. He saw things from characters. They had a great time, and we already kind of went over a bunch of this stuff, like you said. What are some of the club takeaways from the weekend? Any changes, upgrades in the mix for next year? But then the last one, he asked, who got lowest ride? He didn't know who that was.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember. I thought maybe you just might have known off the top of your head.
No, actually, I might have it. I might have it right here.
All right. Well, you look at that. I'm going to cue the next one.
Big Rough, 1991 Toyota.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, I don't remember which one that was.
Yeah. This one, the next one. This is pretty cool. A guy named Robbie Williams. He doesn't have a question, but did he give us a legit list of restaurants to try and Pigeon Forge next year?
Oh yeah,
you see that? Yeah. That was legit. It's like he's got it. Thank you so much for this. He's got not only a list of cool restaurants to go to, but he has it in organized by steakhouses, burger joints, breakfasts, sandwich shops. So
keep that screen cap, because
I got it. Yeah, okay. I got it. So that was, I just wanted to shout him out, because that took some effort to put together, and we really appreciate it.
We talk about each other's little quirks and downfalls to communicating with people, right?
Right.
So yours is obviously like you'll see something and you just say cool.
Yeah.
And if I reached out to someone and they just said cool, I'd be like, oh, that's all I get. But you're not saying it like that. That's just you.
Right.
And my biggest downfall is I read that and just went, thank you. I think I said thank you, but
I don't see that part.
no, you're like, no, you piece of crap.
No, you did, but I just don't have it screen capped.
Oh no, okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
but I didn't take the time to screen cap that and bring it out and say thank you on the actual podcast. So
Yeah, and here we are. Though.
We'll do better.
Yeah. But yeah,
Or
thanks, man. That's super cool. We're at least gonna try some of those.
We're doing
Some of them.
Dollywood next year.
Yeah, I know. That was a really cool suggestion. I think that'd be fun. Some of the names of these restaurants are very interesting. You got the Peddler. You got the local goat, Monster Burger, like the Log Cabin. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, thanks. This one is an interesting question. This is from Mike Orth. He says, favorite truck between these two trucks. Mike's No Compromise or Crew Cut. I'm not familiar with No Compromise. I was wondering if you know.
That's Mike Barsha's.
Which one is that one?
The gray dually from Florida that Daniel Smith painted the graphics.
I'm sorry, I didn't know the name. I don't know the name.
Yeah, No Compromise.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right. Now I know which ones you're talking about. If I was to pick between those two, I would pick No Compromise. That truck.
Yeah, I couldn't pick between those two because they're just so radically different.
Well, yeah, for sure.
And I like the ballsiness of Crew Cut as far as like cutting the roof off of the thing.
No, yeah, for sure.
And then I also like what when they redid it at Gas Monkey, they put the new motor in it, so like it's pretty peppy now and stuff. And I like that it's driven, like it gets out there, it gets driven. I mean, he drove that home in the rain.
Yeah,
when he bought that, right? But then the respect on No Compromise. It's just like that's another ballsy thing. Like I don't know if you follow him on any social medias or anything, but like before every show, that thing is up on jack stands. He's under it. He's buffing underneath it. He's like all this stuff, and I'm just like, man, I got to pack a suitcase, and I'm like,
yeah, I know,
wore out.
I got to wipe down just the extra like little drips on the side of my truck. And I'm like, ah,
yeah. So yeah.
I
definitely couldn't choose between the two. You know, if someone were just like, which one do you want? I don't know.
That's where I was coming from. Like,
if I would want No Compromise, though.
I was the other way around. I don't know if I'd want Crew Cut.
I would, because I worry less about taking care of Crew Cut than I do about No Compromise. Yeah. So I think that's where my mindset is. You know, I'd be so afraid to do anything with No Compromise, even though I didn't build it, and even though it was given to me. Yeah, I'd be like, no. But then the other one, I'm like, let's just go cruise it.
Yeah, that's true. Those are great points. Really great points. Okay, and let's see what else are here. Oh, this is a good one. This is from Jeff Wilson. He says, I have a couple questions. If trucker car shows went away, would you still drive a custom truck? If there was only, that's the first question. And the second question is, if there was only one show going on, let's say in the middle of the country, would you take your truck there?
Yeah, I would say yes to both. One of my favorite things to do is drive my truck to random places like the grocery store. Yeah. You know, even I don't know if I would have it as crazy as like my Tacoma is or not, but more like along the lines of like a completely completely stock bagged and body dropped something.
Yeah, just to drive,
just to have, something like, and it might maybe not even a mini truck, like maybe more of a daily-ish, like a full size. Yeah, you know, if there wasn't like just for comfort and all that stuff. But yeah, and then what do you say if there's one show?
Well, yeah, hold on. Let me add my thing to that too. I'm gonna sound like the good old days guy right now, but I'm sure it'd be different if I experienced it now. But just fondly, I miss those days when that was your only truck, and you had to drive it every day. Yeah. Like I kind of miss those days because it was like that thing, like breaking down, fixing it, cruising around, going over to your friend's house, hanging out. Oh, let's go cruise down to this and do this. And you had to because that was your only ride. So I do miss those fondly. Yeah. But I probably would not miss all the other crap that went with that. His second question was, if there was only one show going on, let's say in the middle of the country, would you take your truck there? So like no other shows exist, just this one show in the middle, like in Texas, in
Yeah.
Amarillo, Texas.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Especially if it was only one time a year.
Yeah, I know that'd be great.
Yeah.
We only got to do this once.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we'd have to get jobs.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, screw that.
This one's from Ro. This is from this one was also from May 26th, which is actually a lot closer than March.
Yeah.
So we're getting closer. He's all question time. Do you guys support Scion XBs in the scene? There was a great time when toasters was a big debate.
See, some of these I answer and I don't answer them on the podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, some of them I go, yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
Yeah. But I mean, it's an interesting question because like when I read that, I'm all like, what XPs in the scene? There are maybe like 2 or 3, a handful.
No, there's more. There's more out there. We just don't see them.
We're just kind of like one of those things you don't see, you don't think about.
Yeah, or they're just they're just go to other shows, or they're just not in your brain.
Yeah,
so you know what I mean. You probably walk by them and don't even think about them.
I do because me and Angie had an XP.
Yeah, but think about being at like mini nats or these shows where you're just running around trying to film.
Oh, that's true.
Sometimes these vehicles just don't
register.
Like, if I didn't have a booth, I would pay more attention to kind of what's there. But yeah, you probably would pay more attention to them because you guys had one.
Yeah, that was Angie's first brand new car. It was a 2005 Scion XB. We love that thing. I've talked about a whole bunch before about going to the Scion nights at Knott's Berry Farm. It was a fun car. It was small. And kind of to go touch back on the whole like slate thing. That was like one of the first things where like they're like, hey, this is a cheap car that you can customize, whatever, because they did like you could add lights, you could add different floor mats, you could add different wheels.
They're very
they would put a
PT Cruiser-esque when it comes to modifying.
Oh, for sure. Yes, definitely.
Like that, like when you say modify, like we're talking about that type of modifying.
Yeah, they were adding a sticker on the hood, a Scion sticker. But what I mean to compare it to the Slate truck was their whole thing was like, yeah, it's a very affordable, customizable car, but it's got air conditioning, it's got power windows, it's got a stereo. I mean, at the time, of course, all this thing exists now, but at the time, for $16,000, you were getting a pretty hooked up, fully loaded car. Yeah,
Yeah.
So I think
XBs are great. I just saw one the other day. It was the generation after.
Yeah.
Which I like the first generation, but I also, when it comes to like lowered on like fit on like when they have nice fitment on the wheels, I like the second generation.
Oh, I would completely agree. Well, Cody had that brown one,
which was super sick.
Yeah, it was nice. It was super nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a fun car.
When it comes to, I've said this before, and it's probably maybe an unpopular opinion or popular opinion, who knows? But when it comes to like actually modifying them, when you start to cut into them, I think that you're fooling yourself a little bit there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like get a mini truck.
just go get the mini truck.
It's funny though, because you had that one that was railing pretty hard in your video.
It's the only thing I had. It fit that. It fit that scene because I was like, I'm not going to put that in there, and then I go, because it was one of the Scion truck things. It was a slate, is what it was. That's a slate. Yeah,
you're right. You're exactly right. It's an XB with the.
That's
back
what I said.
off.
The side profile.
You did say that. It didn't register in my brain.
It looks like an XB, and then you chop the back off like those people do with those things.
Yeah,
and
that's exactly what it is.
Because the back wheel is so far back. It looks like if you when you put this on the slate, it's cool when you put the roof on. It looks good. That it like aesthetically makes it look better. But yeah, those Scions. It was funny. I knew you were going to say that when I saw that one dragging in the video.
Yeah, it was cool though. I enjoyed it. But yeah, I miss our XP. The only reason why Angie bought that brand new in 2005. When I bought my Titan, we both bought brand new cars at the same time. And then we probably would still have that car today had it not been, we were in Vegas one time and a guy blew a light and hit us and totaled the car. And that's how we ended up with the Camry. But yeah,
they're great. They're so good because you look at them and you're like, that's a small car, but there's so much room in them.
Oh yeah. They're just a box. So like, yeah, there was a ton of room in that thing. Yeah. We went all over in that thing. Yeah. Ours was, we had it lowered a little bit. I don't know if you're familiar with focal wheels. Yeah, it had these really cool like chrome focal wheels on it. 17s, had a nice stance to it. It was a cool car. I really enjoyed it. All right, let's round it off with a bacon question.
Okay.
All right. This is not even a question. but he has a statement.
Was this the recent one that he said? Because I saw it.
Yeah.
It was like, this is not a question. It's more, but I never read it.
Went into it. It's just funny. We'll end it off on this. He says, not a question, but for the both of you on something that I just heard that'll kick off a podcast with, but we're ending it with this one, Bacon. Buc-ee's is not a convenience store. It's what you get when Six Flags F's a Walmart, and with a massive parking lot, they toss some gas pumps in.
Say that again.
Okay. Buc-ee's is not a convenience store. It's what you get when a Six Flags F's a Walmart, has relations with a Walmart, and with a massive parking lot, they toss some gas pumps in. So basically, he's saying it's more like an amusement park than a convenience store.
It always reminded me of like a National Lampoon's type thing.
Yeah, that's what you said. Yeah. Like Wally World.
I think Lindsay sent this to me the other night, and she said that it was like a meme or something. It said Mountain Dew is the cigarettes of soda.
I saw that.
It was so good.
That is exactly what Mountain Dew is.
I don't know why that statement just made me think about that.
Oh no, it's funny. Well, yeah, because Buc-ee's is the Disneyland of.
It's the Gatlinburg.
It's
that whole.
That's what it is.
It's just that whole over the top. Down south, like yeah.
Whoever Buc-ee's has been around since the 80s. The first one was built in 1982, actually.
Yeah,
and I never heard of it before until 10 years ago. You know,
because I think When did they build that one right there in
Katy?
Not Katy. The
Lulling?
the one before that.
Lulling,
because that was the first.
That's right.
One.
Yeah.
But was it the first big over the top one, or did they have just like Circle K type gas stations?
They must have been Circle K type gas stations for years and years and years, but then one dude was probably like, I have an idea. You know?
I have an idea. Yeah. It was a good idea.
We got this funny looking little character. You know, it's really good. They're multi-billionaires probably, whoever, you know, runs Buc-ee's, the whole shit, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway. Well, we'll see. We keep on. It's almost like a D-Day for us when the Arizona one gets built to see exactly how because we're already kind of like on the downward trend of this. Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
So pump it back up. What's the first Buc-ee's that they're going to put like a ride-esque thing in it?
I don't know if they are.
I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
They should.
ideas
They should have in Pigeon Forge is what they should have done. They should have put
that
the
would've
Buc-ee's
been,
and then behind it they should have put like a big go-kart track or something.
Well, the one because that's the one in Severnville, right? Or Severnville. They should have just made the building a giant beaver.
Yeah.
That would have fit the vibe down there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's all the questions. I hope we're caught up.
I have a question for everybody regarding Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
So my buddy Bobby said that Buc-ee's is trash compared to. He lives up in the Maryland area, so they're used to. Their gas stations up there. I think are different than ours, and they're big with like sandwiches up there. So like you go in there and you get a sandwich or you get some food, and then whenever growing up in SoCal, like we had 7-Eleven, which is just garbage food, AM/PM, which is garbage food. Remember Stop and Goes?
I don't remember Stop and Goes.
They had Stop and Goes. There was never like gas stations were never a hub for anything like good food. It was just always crap. But apparently, like the Wawas and there's another one, they were always known for good food. So when he hears us talking about Buc-ee's coming from the West Coast, where we see a gas station with good food, we're blown away. And he goes, "It's weird."
That's just a normal thing. Yeah, because it's a normal thing.
If anyone's listening that goes to Wawa's or whatever gas station you have, do you think how does that stack up? And you've been to Buc-ee's, like how does it stack up as far as food goes? That'd be interesting.
Now that you said that, I can't even because I was gonna say like, oh yeah, well I mean no, we always used to eat at AM/PM, but yeah, it was just trash.
It was just
food.
crap.
It was no good.
Like we have QT here, which I know there's QTs everywhere, and that's like when it comes to food, I don't ever eat their food, but they do have like you could go in there, they have a grill and they'll make you food. And but it's not anything comparable to like Buc-ee's quality food.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. But we got to make it out to the East Coast and experience some of those things.
Yes,
I want to get a lobster sandwich at a gas station from the East Coast.
I don't even want to get a gas station. I want to get a lobster roll right off the coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could technically do that in San Pedro.
Yeah.
They have that fish thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whatever.
Yeah. No, I want it Maine lobster. That was caught on a
You want
boat.
that Atlantic.
I want that. Yeah, exactly. Not that Pacific.
Nah, bull crap.
Bull crap Pacific stuff.
Anyway, that's the end of this episode.
Yep. Go buy some shirts.
Go to our website, buy shirts. Yeah. That help out.
Yeah, help us out. Help us help you.
Help us, help you, help us.
Yeah. Go watch my video.
Yeah. I'll watch out for. Oh, no, I won't say that. We'll talk about that next week. All right.
All right.